Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I want to say thank you to my brother for helping me put this thing together. This was his idea to put something together as opposed to going to buy something. And it's something that I just really realized that it's much better in life to just make it for your own instead of going out there and trying to buy some mess. Because this is the only one that still works, still goes. All my other little things and little trinkets and little firebox things are all broken down. This one is still going strong for some reason, and it burns real good. So this fire should get here going pretty good. It's finally getting cold. And I don't know why, but I get a little excited when it gets cold out compared to the old ways I used to look at life. I used to just couldn't stand it. I just grew up in cold, and I just don't like it. But I like it more now in the way of being resourceful. And being resourceful knowing that you're going to work on the struggles while you're in the struggles, not when you're in the good times. You can't prepare for struggle, problems, chaos. You can only just be good when you're in the good. But when the struggles happen, that's where, I guess I could say, that's where the real man is shown, is seen. This is an interesting comment that I got. That I only like to talk about comments when I hear from lots of people. I hear the same stuff. So I'll speak about ones like that I just constantly keep hearing over and over and over and over again from people. Maybe not even comments on YouTube, but just in person, especially in person. This comment right here is the one that just, I hear this so much when people meet me. It's really interesting comment. Really interesting on seeing someone talk about working on themselves because they, in reality, have the time to do such a thing. I've been so busy. I got all this work to do. I got all these chores to do. I don't have time to be able to work on myself because I got all this other stuff that I have to take care of. And that's weird to me because that comes down to that concept of, again, you can't train for the bad. You can only work on it when you're in it. When I'm sitting here cutting this wood, I don't know what it is. I've come to really like swinging an axe. When I come to cutting this wood, I'm working on myself. I'm making sure where my thoughts are going, how I'm processing, knowing that I'm not getting angry, I'm not getting frustrated, I'm not getting annoyed. I'm just in it and I'm enjoying it. Everything that I do when I'm working, this morning, it's cold, everything's frozen. All the waters, except for the cattle trough, I think it's because the direct sun hits it right away. I got a good spot for it this year. But everything's frozen. So I gotta go and get water. It's just been busy. I don't just ignore my said mental health. I don't ignore my trying to work upon myself because I'm busy, because I got to do all these things. No, that's a time in reality that I need to focus the most on being able to work on myself. That's the time that I need to, for the most, put a book on and listen to it while I'm walking around moving waters and doing this and doing that. That's the time that I'm the most when I'm trying to cut some wood to worry about where my thoughts are going and make sure that I'm good. That's the time that I have to dig deep the most. I can't run away at that moment saying I'll put it off later when things are good. You just can't prepare yourself in the good times for what's about to happen in the bad. You can load up some wood, you can store up some fuel, you can keep some propane on hand. Yeah, you can do that when times are good, which that's what we should be doing, is staying busy when times are good. But we can't think that I'm going to be able to also learn how to be able to get my frustration away in times of good, how to get better with my anger when times are good. When everything is paid off and all your when all your bills are paid off and everything is good to go, you don't really have frustration, you don't really have anger, you're not really irritated. You're just like living good. So in that moment, you're not really getting better, is what I would say. You're just able to keep accumulating, but not get better in the sense of what it really matters is when something happens that angers you. That's when what you're going to do, how you're going to respond. That's what really matters in this life in reality. Who cares when it's good? When it's good, it's good. It's when it's bad and when it's hard, when it's ruthless, when it's chaos. That's the time that you're like, what do I do now? Because that's the time that most people don't make it. Most people don't make it in those. And most people, unfortunately, they live at a very young mindset in your brain. I don't care what your number is. You could be my age, 30, you could be 48, you could be 58, 68. But you're still like 10 years old because you run away from when that frustration, when that anger kicks in. You just run away. You say, oh, it's too much. And I gotta go do this instead. As opposed to just sitting and dealing with it and knowing how to be able to get through it. That's one complicated thing that I've seen. I can just know about simple YouTube videos. I can say it's simple, but it's really not, to be a person that's just going and going and going and going and going at it. Because when you go to your workplace, if you're angry, if you're frustrated, you could just, you hide, you run away. You don't really have anything to like inspire or motivate. You like, I'm not taking those phone calls today. You can easily do that. But when you're a person that's making, most people, or my YouTube is like very biased, so obviously everyone's is, but it's very biased on like, let's get stuff done. Let's work through the problems. Let's to make a channel like that and still keep going, even though you're going through the most craziest chaos in your world, you still have to get up and you still have to be able to perform. The only way you could do that is doing that while you're in the middle of the chaos. You can't prepare for the good. You can't you could, but you're not going to sit here and pre-make 100 or 5,000 videos when it's doing good, and then when things are bad, you'll be able to just keep it going. It doesn't work that way. You have to still keep showing up regardless of what's going on in your world. You have to still keep being able to help people regardless of what's going on in your world. That's a sticky thing with dogs, because when you're frustrated, you'll change, like, you want it faster is really what happens with a lot of people with anger and frustration. You want fast. You want it now. You want it instant. So you'll apply said more pressure upon the animal to get it to conform to that. You're angry and you're frustrated, as opposed to being able to just regulate yourself completely all the way out to be able to know that I got to be calm in all scenarios regardless of what's going on. And the only time you can work on that is when you're in it. When you're in it. When you're working, you have to work upon yourself. When you're doing hanging out, you have to work upon yourself. When things are bad, that's the prime time to work on yourself. And that's the thing that's kind of complicated. It's kind of complicated with like religion. Because I've always heard this from a lot of old pastors before years ago when I listened to them. They would always say the same mess. When times are good, you skip praying, you skip asking, you skip working, you skip doing, you skip it all. And you only start to branch out, lead out. I might have to move here in a second. Branch out when times are bad. When times are bad, you're like, Jesus, where you at, man? Where you at, Jesus? What's going on? How you gonna be able to help me out, man? I need this. I'm behind on a bill or 4. I don't have no food. It's cold. It's too hot. The car's broke. This, that. Jesus, I need you. 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 And in reality, religion would state, Jesus should help you in that. But the help that we need compared to the help that we want. The help we want is give me the money, put it in my account so that I can buy and get all this stuff done. But the help that you need is to figure out how to be able to get yourself through the frustration, through the anger, through the chaos, and be able to just get through it and dance through it just with ease. You see it happen and you're just like, oh, okay, well, it's all right. Let's just work on this now. Because when your mind is like that, you can come up, you can troubleshoot, you can figure things out. But when you're all anxious and frustrated and just all these things, you can't think, you're not thinking anything logically through. You're gonna do things that could turn into, the easiest way to say it is like criminal. You're gonna turn into to disaster. Because that's where the mind starts to go when you're frustrated. Because again, you want it now. You want it. You need it this second. Give it to me. And that's not teaching you anything. That's not giving you anything that you actually need. It's what you want. But what you need is to deal with that problem. You can pray. You can do your stuff. But understand that, what are you praying about? What are you asking for? Are you asking for this problem to disappear? Or are you asking for you to be able to figure out how to be able to get through this problem without being affected by the problem? That's an amazing way to be able to speak and to be able to move on this planet. I don't want the problems to disappear. I want to be able to handle these problems like they're nothing. They're simple, they're easy. And the only way you could do that is working on it when you're in the middle of the work. You can't work on it in the good times. It's not going to get you anywhere. When the chaos is going on, that's the time that you're going to find and you're going to come up with that plan. And not even just that plan, but the plan is going to work out. Because it's in the best interest for you to figure out how to be able to get away from the anger, to get away from the frustration. And many people we don't do that. You run, you escape, you do something to try to make it so that doesn't happen, as opposed to just sitting in it and dealing with it and just having no choice but to just sit in the suck of it all and just, it is what it is, and go head first into it. It's a huge message of what Christ is all about. He knew what was going to happen, and he pushed forward into it. He didn't run away. He pushed forward, pushed forward, pushed forward. He had people all trying to mess him up, people trying to sabotage him. He knew exactly what was going down, and he pushed through. To push through. And each time you keep pushing through each of these challenging things, it gets easier and easier and easier until you get to that point that you get the biggest challenge of your life that comes. And then you're able to just, I'm good. I could do this. And then you finally get to that, who knows, next place of whatever it is. That's something that we will be, I believe, continually working on as Christ lived for the remainder of our life until the day that we pass. Because the day that you finally pass is going to be a very, who knows what type of situation, but that's the, you know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen. But that's the time that you for sure can't run away from it. You got to go head first into it, knowing that I'm good, knowing that I'm going to be able to get through this with no issues at all. I'm going to be able to get past it. That's how you don't get so nervous and worried about getting hurt or having problems or anything like that. Because you know you're going to be able to push through it. You're going to be able to push past it. It's not going to stop you. It's not going to make you quit. It's not going to make you run away. It's going to make you want to go further and further into it to be able to get past it and get through it. It's a beautiful way to live on this planet. Because all his disciples did what? Ran away. They all ran away. They saw the chaos come and they just, we got to get out of here. And that was a lesson that they saw. They saw him still go and push through. They saw Christ just go. Even though they ran away, they all came back. Not all, but they all came back. One didn't come back. They all came back and realized that they were wrong. The good and the bad side of it. The guy that tried to betray hopes and homie and try to do all that, he pushed through into what he needed to do. He quit. He gave up. The others pushed through and they pushed and they kept going and kept going and kept going no matter what was being thrown at them. They saw that someone did that and they just followed and they're like, we also want to know how to get through our problems so that when this chaos goes on, I could dance through this. I could push through it. I'm not scared of it. I'm not nervous about it. I'm able to handle it. Almost in a way of like bring the problems so that I could be able to figure out how to fast track this so to get myself through these issues. That's why the simple concept, I'll talk about a dog for half a second. You think you're going to train, this is the biggest thing that I saw in like dog school even. We're training all this stuff in a building. So hopefully we're going to get it to be outside. And the most stuff that we're training for, just most people that are like, I need a dog trainer, are for some stuff that's just like chaos. It's not my dog is a little out of position. It's not my dog is like freaking out at the world. You can't train for that. You got to go out into the world and you have to be that calm being for that animal so that that animal could learn and see you and say, okay, well, it's not that bad. It's okay. But you got to go through it. You got to push through it. You got to go past it. You got to stay in it. You can't just run away from it. So that when you stay in it, you'll be able to go further into it. You'll be able to go further into it. But when you just run away or think that I could do something over there for it to work over there, you can't do that. You can't train in the good times for the bad times. Again, you could store some wood. You could store some propane, some gasoline. You could do something like that. But when it's bad, what does it matter? There was one year, what was it, 22? I had all my wood, all stored. Everything was good. Because at that time, I'm always prepared to make sure if I don't have heat in the house, I can keep running the fireplace. Stuff happens. But you know what happened that year? I had zero access to that wood because it rained and the ice was like this thick on it. And it was done. It was done. So when I needed it, it wasn't there. So I prepared in the good times for the bad. And then when the bad came, I had nothing. Nothing. I'm out here having to cut extra different things down. Getting mad, getting frustrated, getting irritated, getting angry, getting all this. Like, just say, why is my stuff messed up? And that's the time that I needed to work on myself the most, right then and there, when I was getting that frustration. That anger was kicking in. I already did all the work. Why I got to do it again? But just say, you know what? Thankfully, I get a chance to be able to do it again. That's why the Bible's got a lot of really good lessons in there. Especially that concept of don't grumble about your work. Get your work done. Just do your work. Make it happen. Especially in the times of good. Just make it happen. So that in the times of bad, especially in times of bad, like just make it happen. Because when the times are good, of course, you're whistling while you're working. But when the times are bad, you got to still keep whistling while you're working. You got to still just keep enjoying and being able to have that opportunity to be able to do that. That's the growth right there. The growth isn't when I'm on vacation, now I can do this. The growth isn't now I got time, I can read the book. No, the growth is I don't have time and I'm going to read the book. That's growth. That's moving forward. It's something that I don't know what it is. I do. I talk to a lot of people that it's like most folks I talk to are like, I don't know what happens at the age of 10. It's like 10, 12 years old. It's like that's where most people's mindsets are. Because we're not wanting to deal with that growth. We're just running away from it. Something challenging happens, and you're just like, nope. I got to do this instead. I got to go over there. I got to get out of here. I can't deal with this. Shut up. Just run and just get away from it. As opposed to just allowing that stuff that I don't even know what it is, but just say that chemical makeup that happens in you when you start to get like all wild. You sit in it and you just say, it is what it is. I got to get past this. And the more that you do that you get past it, the easier and easier and easier and easier and easier it becomes no matter what happens to you. This is stuff that I can prove with dogs. And I can say my own self, but I can prove with the animal. Because I see them do that. I put them in a sense that they're just like, they're nervous. I can see that they're nervous. They're scared. But day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, things start getting to the point that it's just, it doesn't matter anymore. Because my shepherd, he always had issues with like loud noises. Just bang, hear a noise like that. He's like, oh, what's going on with that? I mean, even my goodness, this year is so much better with fireworks and stuff with my Pyrenees. This dude want to run away when he hears gunshots. But we just sit in it. I'm not letting you escape, buddy. We're here. You're not running away. And then it just gets to the point that today, there could be a huge bang that goes off. And they just look at it like, oh, whatever. Because they've learned to just know what that feeling is and realize I got to go through it. I can't run away from it. I got to go through it. I got to just make it past it. That's the mindset why I believe some people have better animals than others, because they go through the problems. They don't run away from it. That's who they are. And if who they are, that's how they are, the stuff that's around them is going to also be the same way. They have that like, I know I don't have, but I'm going to work on it and get it. I don't need it this second. When you got that mindset of I need it right now, you're failing in reality, because that's where you're hoping, wishing, and praying for something to happen that you're not praying for the right stuff. Everything's not just going to disappear and be perfect and it's amazing oasis. That's not, for whatever reason, this world is. It's challenging. It's struggle. It's death. It's chaos. It's destruction. And that's not only just us that are on it. It's just what the planet is in reality. It's just destruction. Live and die. Live, die, consume, take over. That's what happens to the fields. The weeds start to come, take over. If you don't take care of it, everything like that out here is just, it's chaos. But it's for us to learn how to be able to go through that chaos, unfazed, just push right past it. Oh, that happened? Oh, okay. I'm fine. Let's go. Let's make it happen. That's the part with me. I've been living in chaos this past couple of months. Having these animals, I don't know if are they animals? These rats. I thought they were mice, but they big. They like that big. I caught one today that was like, it was like that big. It was that thing was huge. I've been living in chaos because they came and just started taking, like a swarm of them came one day. And all of a sudden I had none to all of a sudden I had hundreds. And I'm struggling. What am I doing here? I'm out all day, all night hunting. All night. I'm barely sleeping. Barely getting anything. Just chaos. Just frustrated. Just angry. Just mad. But yet I'd still get up. That's the part. Again, living in that and still getting up and still making videos. Still getting stuff done. Still doing what you need to do. Still making it happen. Not just quitting and not just giving up. There's little things like that for each of us that just happen. For me, for whatever reason, this season came in of just these little animals that I just couldn't get out. And for someone that's like, save the rats, you've never lived with them consuming and taking over your household. That's all that I can say about that. Because when they're under your house, chewing up all your stuff, hoping, wishing, and praying that they're not chewing through your electrical cords and chewing through your plumbing. They're just chewing and chewing and chewing. I'm up all night. I'm under the house, low crawling, trying to hit them out of there. Angry, mad, every day. These things are just all on my mind. Just all on my mind. I just couldn't let it go. And then something happened. I just sat on the couch. I heard them just munching. God, when you got, there's at least 20 of them that were under the house. I've shot at least 100 of them. One night I took out 20 of them, one night. When they're under the house, you hear them munching. There's no sleeping in that house. It's quiet out here, so you hear all night. There's no peace, there's no nothing. Living in absolute chaos. That's the moment that you need to work on yourself. That's the moment that I just sat down and I say, you know what? Whatever. I let that anger go. I sat in the anger. I didn't run away from it. I didn't like run on a rampage. Let me go under the house. Let me go grab the BB gun. Let me go this. No, I say, you know what? Let me relax so that I can, for one, the main thing is when I'm frustrated, I'm on this anxious, like I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I didn't have a good solid plan. And then when I just got a lot of that anger, a lot of that all thought to just disappear. I say, oh, we're good, buddy. I turned my enemy and I looked at it and said, because that's how I looked at them things. They's my enemy. They ain't here to help me. They're here to destroy. They took over everything out here. I say, you my buddy. You my homies. Y'all good. All of a sudden, I started getting a game plan, a real game plan. The game plan that I was doing, I did the same game plan, which is weird. But I was doing it out of like frustration and rage. But when I got a new game plan on doing it in, I need y'all out of here. You can't keep doing this. The game plan started to actually work. The game plan turned into just allowing me to just not go through that anxious, not that anger. I couldn't have a game plan before I was in it. I had to get a game plan while I was in it. I couldn't practice before it happened. I had to practice it when I was in it. When you're in the middle of it, when you're busy, when you're working, when you have all this going on, that's when you work. That's when you're going to be able to start to dance through the world. Because stuff like that's just always going to continuously keep on happening. And now they're starting to disappear. One after another, just gone, going away. Because I just let that anger go. They're still there. They're still there. But it doesn't bother me anymore. The way that it was bothering me. The way I was getting nervous and scared about it. It's just, whatever. I'll get y'all out of here. And now the same game plan that I was even doing, setting my traps and doing my stuff, it's actually working now. There's no like hate and animosity towards it. There's no like, unfortunately today I did. I caught one and then I had to shoot it because I said I would. And I got to do what I say I do. But now I have no desire to even like be malicious like that anymore. I'm like, I caught you. I'm sorry, buddy. Let me go bury you. And put you with the rest of them. And now it's starting to just disappear. Not because the problem disappeared, because I'm just dealing with the problem in a different way. This is the way that I'm looking at the world today for sure. I got to push myself in the problem, knowing that it's going to be challenging, but I got to push myself through it so that I can get past it in a way of me learning how to deal with it better, as opposed to it just disappearing. Please take my problems away from me in my life. That's not what we pray for. I mean, what you pray for? It's not what I'm ever going to pray for ever again in my life. I want to pray for me being able to relax and calm myself through the problems, because they're always going to keep coming. Thank you. One cool thing is when it's cold out, it starts to get quiet. People don't be traveling that much around here. It's just a amazing experience to be able to learn how to push through the problems as opposed to make them disappear. Or worst case, try to run away from them. That's something that I just see as It's especially lacking in a lot of younger people today. Not even just that. I see it in lots of folks, but especially today, a lot of younger people. We got these phones that make it so easy to escape, to run away. I don't like what's going on over there, and you got something to just consume, it's no different than heroin and methamphetamines and amphetamines and none of that. It's all the same. You're just running away into that phone. Let me get on TikTok real quick. Let me get on Instagram real quick. Let me get on Pinterest real quick. Let me get on LinkedIn real quick. Let me get on YouTube real quick. Just running away. As opposed to just going headfirst into what's troubling you, what's struggling you. These phones are making it interesting. They're amazing. Absolutely amazing. But if you're not willing to get past said problems in your life on just going through them, that phone could be destructive. It can make a 30-year-old woman still act like a 10-year-old girl. It can make a 40-year-old man still act like an 8-year-old boy. Because you're constantly running away. And when something happens, you throw these temper tantrums. I didn't get my way. That's the part where, that's the death of leadership right there. We're not going to have any more solid leaders. If that's what most of us just keep doing. That's what's going to make it easy for us to be under a massive amount of control here real soon. This thing burns. It burns beautifully. Now it's at that stage. It's going to be warm for hours. Being able to find peace in the chaos. That's the beauty of life. Not running from it, but going right into it.